You are Locked On Giants Postcast, part of Locked On Sports San Francisco on the Locked On Podcast Network. Your team every day.
Yo, what's up, everyone, and welcome back to the Locked On Giants Postcast. I'm your host, Eric Triple E Engel. You may know me as the former producer for the Murph and Mac Morning Show on KMBR. Today, Kyle Harrison makes his return to the mound for the Giants, and it did not go as planned. For the highly touted prospect, he gave up 3 first-inning runs and only managed to pitch 3 1/3 innings before being pulled in this one. Gave up 4 runs in total before being yanked from the game. The Giants offense did show their never die attitude and began to mount a comeback, but in comes Luke Jackson and immediately gives up another tater, and that was the difference in this one. Is the Giants ultimately fall 5-4, but they can still win this series with a victory tomorrow, and we all know how good the Giants have been in rubber matches this year. We'll break it all down, but first, I want to thank all of you for watching us on the Locked On Sports San Francisco YouTube channel. Please, if you aren't already subscribed, hit that subscribe button right now. Thanks also for listening on the Locked On Giants podcast feed. However you're tuning in, we appreciate it, and make sure to check out the Locked On Giants Daily Show for more in-depth coverage. This episode of the Locked On Giants Postcast is brought to you by Booking.com. Booking.yeah. The right stay can make you a fan of any city, even your rivals. Check out Booking.com for your stay today. That Luke Jackson moment, we'll get right to it, man, because this Giants offense had really done a lot of work to get themselves back into this game. They were trailing just 1 run, 4-3. Giants were down 1 in the 6th inning when Luke Jackson comes in and he strikes out one guy and then just immediately gives up a tater to Noel. That dude's 3rd of the season. And man, I am getting so incredibly tired of discussing Luke Jackson's inability to pitch in high leverage situations. And I know this wasn't like the highest of high leverage situations that we've seen this dude in, but it this is tiring. I don't know why this dude is still pitching in games that the Giants have a chance to win. That home run, it was on a curveball just right over the middle of the plate. I mean, it was a little bit inside, but I mean, thigh high and just a hanger at 85 miles an hour. You can't throw that pitch to a big league hitter. You can't. You can't. I don't care if this dude only has 2 home runs all season. You can't do that. Like, I just don't understand why this guy is still going out there. I mean, the Giants bullpen as a whole is tired. Like they just pitched an entire bullpen game yesterday. Every single person in this Giants bullpen, with the exception of Colton Ingram, who got here today, has pitched in the last 2 days, 3 days. It's I get that. But there's no way you can keep trotting Luke Jackson out here at this point. He had an ERA over 9 last month. This dude is lost right now, has no idea how to get the ball over the plate. And when he does, it is a meatball. Dude should be I said this already on the last time this happened. Dude should be working at Original Joe's, bringing meatballs out on platters to happy San Franciscans, eating a nice lunch if he's going to want to just serve up meatballs to people. He should not be doing it out at Progressive Field in Cleveland, serving up balls on a damn tee for the Guardians. This is one of the best teams in all of baseball. You cannot just go out there and sell games like this. And yes, that wasn't the only issue the Giants had today. Kyle Harrison was not sharp on the mound, put the Giants in a hole early. The Guardians kind of paid them back for what the Giants did yesterday. Yesterday, the Giants plated 3 runs in the 1st inning. Today, the Guardians played 3 runs in the 1st inning. But you got to assume that Kyle Harrison is, he was kind of rushed back from this injury. He didn't have very many rehab starts. You look at Blake Snell, you look at, I know Robbie Ray has been coming back from Tommy John, so that's a little different. But you look at how the Giants have ramped up these other guys, like Keaton Wynn got a bunch of rehab starts. I mean, Robbie Ray's getting rehab starts. Blake Snell's getting rehab starts. Alex Cobb's getting rehab starts. Kyle Harrison didn't really have very many. They needed him to come back, and I really do think they might have rushed him back a little bit too quickly on this one. He did not look like he had the command out there today. Remember, Harrison had the ankle injury not in a game, but during weight training in the weight room. So to quote Allen Iverson, not a game, practice. But that's when Kyle Harrison picked up that injury. But I mean, you can't rush guys back. I don't know. I mean, I guess time will tell. on that to see if Harrison, was really rushed back faster than he thought was okay. We've heard Blake Snell say very publicly that he felt like the Giants were rushing him back. So definitely something to keep in the back of your mind as the Giants continue to navigate this starting pitching conundrum, as they've had so many injuries and they just need bodies at this point. But one body you can't put out there is Luke freaking Jackson. This guy is so beyond bad this season. You look at his expected ERA, he's bottom 10% in the bigs in all of MLB. 5.25 expected ERA. His strikeout rate just 17.4%. His walk rate 11.6%. If your walk rate is almost identical to your strikeout rate, that's really bad. I mean, this dude is just his expected batting average against is up at 277. It's way higher than the league average batting, like the league average for batting average against. He's been so bad this year. On the season as a whole, his ERA is up over 6. I don't know what you can. You got to move on from this guy. At a certain point, this guy is costing you wins, costing you games. If he doesn't give up that home run, the Giants are in this one. That Michael Conforto double that would have tied the game, that gave the Giants their 4th run of the game, that would have tied this one up. This game ended 5-4, and the Giants had multiple opportunities to score more runs today. We got to acknowledge that too. They did not hit very well situationally with runners in scoring position. The Giants were just 1 for 13, left 10 runners on base, and just a ton of strikeouts today for the Giants at the plate. 14 strikeouts is entirely too many strikeouts. I mean, that's more than half of the outs in this game for the Giants came by way of the strikeout. Those are completely unproductive outs where you aren't moving runners into scoring position. You aren't giving guys a chance to make plays on the base paths. You aren't forcing the defense to make plays. Guardians made 2 errors in this game. If you put the ball in play a lot more, they were kicking the ball around out there. The Giants probably end up scoring another run, at least if they just strike out, 4 or 5 less times today. And that would still be a high number of strikeouts. Like 9-10 strikeouts is still a lot, but I mean, we gotta start having some more consistent play from these guys. Like 3 strikeouts today for Elliot Ramos in the 3-hole. That, I mean, I'm not gonna dump on the guy who's been the best Giants player since he got promoted from AAA, but that's not what you want to see. Clearly, I mean, dude's still batting 300 with OPS at 894, but 3 strikeouts in the 3-hole. That's not going to happen. Too much for Ramos, although he does strike out at a pretty high rate for a guy who's playing as well as he is. That's one part of his game that he does need to shore up a little bit. But so many Giants struck out today. They're the only guys who didn't strike out were Kurt Casale and Mike Yastrzemski. And Mike Yastrzemski came in as a pinch hitter and had 1 at bat. So the only Giant who took more than 1 at bat and didn't have a strikeout today was Kurt Casale. Actually, Casale only took 1 at bat. No, he had more than 1. He drew 3 walks today. My bad. Casale had 3 walks today, and that was pretty solid for him. But this Giants team is not doing their job at the dish. The bullpen didn't do their job. I mean, as a whole, the bullpen kind of did their job, but Luke Jackson specifically, definitely not doing his job in the bullpen. His pitching run value is a -6. His breaking run value is a -5, which is bottom 7% in all of the big leagues. I know I'm using a lot of advanced metrics that I don't normally go into. It's more Ben's thing, but man, I'm just trying to convey to you how bad, how just god awful, unpitchable this guy has been as of late. He had a 9.31 ERA in 10 innings pitched, or in 9.2 innings pitched, and 10 earned runs in 11 games in June. Again, he gave up 10 earned runs in 11 games in the month of June. Lefties are hitting 357 against him in that time frame, and righties were hitting, they cooled off a little bit, but still 242 against him. Man, it's his slider is getting hit at over a 300 batting average. I mean, that's not very good. His fastball is getting hit at a 259 batting average. Last year, that's dramatically different, almost 100 points different from what he did last year. Batters were only hitting about 200 off the slider and 174 off his 4-seamer. Obviously, there is a major issue with Luke Jackson this year mechanically. I mean, mentally, like, dude is just not able to get guys out. He's throwing hangers every single time he's up there. You cannot play this guy anymore. I mean, why did this guy need to pitch today? I mean, you did have that rookie that they just brought up, Colton Ingram. You just got here from AA. Maybe he wasn't ready to pitch yet. He was just claimed off waivers from the Cardinals on Tuesday. So he's made one appearance for the Flying Squirrels through one scoreless inning on Wednesday. I'll tell you what, that's all the information I need to go with that guy instead of Luke Jackson. At least he might not give up a home run, just guaranteed. Feels like every time that Luke's on the mound, it is a guaranteed at least one run for the other team, and a lot of times a lot more. I mean, yes, his last outing prior to this one, he had a decent outing against the Braves on, what was that, 4 days ago, 1 inning pitched, 1 hit, 1 strikeout, got through the inning and 17 pitches, didn't give up any runs. That was an okay outing for Luke. I mean, as far as his outings go this year, that was one of his best outings, actually. But as far as the rest of the Giants bullpen goes, this is the one guy who is not like the others. Everybody else in this bullpen has been pitching lights out lately. I mean, both the Rogers twins, Ryan Walker, we know what he's been doing. Randy Rodriguez did have a tough outing prior to today, but he comes in today, looks great. Great bounce back game from him. Sean Jelly has been doing it all season long. Eric Miller has like the 11th most innings pitched in all of baseball. Dude's a rookie who didn't pitch above AA until this season. So the Giants bullpen has really stepped up, except for this one dude. We saw what Spencer Bivens did and what Spencer Howard did during their times here. We should mention Spencer Bivens optioned back down to AAA along with David VR. So the Giants made room. That's how they made room for Harrison to come back and for Colton Ingram to be called up. But I mean, the corresponding move that the Giants need to do next time to getting a new fresh bullpen arm is get Luke Jackson the hell out of this bullpen. He needs to, I don't know what they need to do to move off of him. They need to pick something and get off of this guy, because this is bad. This dude's unplayable at this point in time. We got to take a quick break. Got to break down some more stuff from this game. I am very frustrated by watching Luke Jackson just go up here and sell games for the Giants. Dude's selling games, and the Giants are doing everything they can to mount a comeback. This offense has been pretty solid, especially in this last couple weeks to a month. They've been pretty damn good. Luke Jackson just selling every single bit of that. So very frustrating loss today. The Giants still have a chance to win this series tomorrow in the rubber match. They have been great in rubber matches this season. They just won in Atlanta. They just won one against the Dodgers. So maybe they can win one against the Guardians. It's going to be a tough task. Guardians have the best record in all of baseball at home, and the Giants are not a very good team on the road this year, but they will have a chance. You'll have Hayden Birdsong on the mound tomorrow. Maybe he can replicate some of what we've seen from him so far. He's been very solid in his first 2 appearances in a Giants uniform, in the big league Giants uniform, but tomorrow is going to be a tough test for Birdsong on the road against one of the best teams in baseball. Just putting it how it is. The Guardians have been great all season long. Got to take a quick break. On the other side, way too many strikeouts for the Giants. Kyle Harrison, we got to look at his rough outing today too. Stick with us on the Locked On Giants postcast. I'm your host, Eric Triple E Engel. We'll be right back. This episode of the Locked On Giants postcast is brought to you by Booking.com. Booking.yeah. With summer travel heating up, especially travel for baseball games, it's time to explore those U.S. cities you always secretly wanted to learn more about. Yes, we're talking about your rivals' cities. With hotels, bed and breakfast, vacation rentals, resorts, and so much more on Booking.com, you might just find your perfect stay, even in your baseball rival's city. I love Oracle Park. You guys know that. But there are also some pretty cool ballparks throughout the rest of the NL West. Petco in San Diego, beautiful. Coors Field in Denver, a very fun time to get out there. 2 great destinations that are beautiful this time of year as far as the cities go. Even though they are infected with Padres and Rockies fans, I think you guys can still find some pretty enjoyable things to do out there if you're looking to get away. From hotels that overlook stadiums to family-friendly resorts, Booking.com has so many choices across the U.S. for your summer travel this MLB season. The right stay can make you a fan of any U.S. city, even your rivals. Book today on Booking.com, on the site, or on the Booking.com app. Today's show is also brought to you by eBay Motors. Passion, drive, and patience. The formula for winning championships is also what keeps your ride or die alive. eBay Motors has everything you need to maintain your vehicle and level it up to peak performance. Superchargers, roof racks, exhaust kits, LED headlights, and more. Whether you're into speed, power, or style, eBay Motors has got you covered. With over 122 million parts for your number one ride or die, you'll always find exactly what you're looking for. And with eBay Guaranteed Fit, your part is guaranteed to fit your ride every time or your money back. Because with eBay Motors, you're burning rubber, not cash. With all the parts you need at the prices you want, it's easy to make your car the MVP and bring home huge wins. Keep your ride or die alive at ebaymotors.com. Eligible items only. Exclusions apply. eBay Guaranteed Fit only available to U.S. customers. Welcome back to the Locked On Giants postcast. I'm your host, Eric Triple E Engel. Today, the Giants drop one in Cleveland. 5-4 is your final. And it was pretty close in this one. Towards the end, the Giants offense mounted a comeback. Michael Conforto has been amazing at the dish so far. We'll get into that a little bit later. But right now, I want to talk about how Harrison's day just really didn't go as planned. And some of the narratives I've seen floating around on social media already started circulating during his start today. I'm already seeing people call for this guy, like prominent Bay Area media members calling for this guy to move to the bullpen. I'm sorry, but that just tells me you have not been watching Giants games all season long. If you're calling for the best pitching prospect in the entire Giants organization to be like to just kill this kid's confidence and move him to the bullpen as a guy who is projected as a starter, the bullpen does not need help. The bullpen is fine. The bullpen needs to not have Luke Jackson pitching every couple days, and they will be even better. They do not need Kyle Harrison to be in the bullpen. They need Kyle Harrison starting games and eating innings. They don't need another long reliever. They need starting pitching. That's what this guy is. That's what do you see the stuff he has? The fastball is electric. Yes, he could not locate very well today. That was a big issue. He missed bad. Like, those misses weren't close. Missed on, that first inning seemed like at least half of those pitches that he was throwing were like out of the hand. Guys were just dropping the bat onto the shoulder because they knew they weren't even going to swing, because they could tell within the first millisecond of the ball exiting Harrison's hand that it was going to be nowhere close to the strike zone. He had a rough day. It was his first start back from an ankle injury that we really don't know how bad it was because we didn't see it. So how are we going to sit here and say that this dude is not starting pitching caliber? Do you know that he had his best start on his last time out? One of his best starts of the season was his prior start just before he went on the injured list. It was against Houston. It was a 4-3 Giants win. He allowed just one run on 4 hits and no walks while he struck out 3. You want to send this guy to the bullpen? That makes no sense. Yes, he had a rough day today. Dude was all over the place, could not find the strike zone, only lasted 3 1/3, gave up 4 runs on 4 hits, also walked 4, only struck out 2, gave up a home run. That ERA doesn't look super pretty. It's at 4.24. But I guarantee you there's a lot worse starting pitchers out there that the Giants could kick some tires on that are going to have an ERA of a lot higher than 4.24. Kyle Harrison, 4-4 on the season. He's been a stopper for the Giants. Again, you remember that road trip when he won in Boston and then won against he picked up the Giants only 2 wins of that really rough road trip where they got swept by the Phillies, and he won against Boston. And Kyle Harrison's been a stopper all season long. It's very frustrating to me to hear people chime in with these just outlandish takes on a rookie. What do you think it's going to do to this guy's mental set? Do we want a repeat of Tyler Beede? I don't. That dude was supposed to be pretty damn good, and instead, last time we saw him was in a Pirates uniform, just getting shelled. That's not what we want for Kyle Harrison, right? We don't want another failed prospect. So then let's ride this out and see what this guy can do rather than screwing with his mental set. We don't need to change up his position. We don't need to tell him to go to the pen. We don't need to change up his routine. We need to let this guy get healthy and pitch, and he will be a lot better for the Giants as a starter than as a reliever. They have so many young arms. We got Randy Rodriguez with the big league club right now. Dude throws gas. He is a great bullpen arm. We also got Reggie Crawford down in AAA. He's great. He's going to be another awesome bullpen arm that can come up at some point this season. And of course, the back end of the bullpen that the Giants currently have with Doval, Ryan Walker has been one of the best relievers. We need to mention it like every show. Ryan Walker needs more respect and love on the national stage. And Tyler Rogers also been great for the Giants this season. You don't need more relievers. What is Harrison's role? What would it be if he was a reliever? A long relief? Pitches once a week, twice a week, maybe in like a bullpen game where he would, probably eat some innings like a starting pitcher would. Maybe we should just leave him as a starting pitcher. I just have no idea why people are even throwing this out there as a suggestion. I'm shocked that it's coming from some of the people that I'm seeing it from on the Bird app, or if you call Twitter X still, or I still call X Twitter. So I've referred to it several times as Twitter on here. I cannot sit there and get down with the new Elon Musk rebrand. So yes, I still refer to it as the Bird app. But yes, if you're on the Bird app and you're seeing this stuff, like, please don't entertain it at all. I have no idea what makes Giants Twitter so damn unhinged. Everyone on Twitter seems to be unhinged these days, but Giants Twitter is like its own special little like microcosm of being like just off the wall bananas lately. I just don't understand 90% of the takes I see on it. This falls in line with all of that. It's frustrating that it comes from media members, though, that are supposed to be locked into this team and the guys on this team knowing what they're doing every day. I have no idea how you could do that and then come up with the take that Kyle Harrison needs to go to the bullpen after one bad start coming back from an injury. It's frustrating. Makes no sense to me. Got to take a quick break. We can move on from that. I think, Kyle Harrison, again, didn't have the best day, but I think we can put that to bed as quickly as it got brought up. So we'll move on. We'll keep going. Michael Conforto on the other side. He's been playing great. And the Giants, just way too many strikeouts in key situations. On the other side of the Locked On Giants postcast, I'm your host, Eric Triple E Engel. We'll be right back. Here on the Locked On Giants postcast, we pride ourselves on getting you the latest news for your team. Whether it's the offseason, the draft, spring training, or the playoffs, pregame, postgame, whenever you need it, it's year-round. You know what else is year-round? Collection season. Just because tax season is over doesn't mean the IRS will stop coming after you for unfiled taxes. The IRS can garnish your wages, levy your bank accounts, and even seize your property. Don't let the IRS target you. Let the licensed professionals and tax experts at Tax Network USA go to bat for you. With over 14 years of experience and an A+ rating by the Better Business Bureau, Tax Network USA has saved their clients over $1 billion in tax debt. Whether you owe taxes, have complicated matters that require tax planning, or finally hit that parlay this season and need help filing correctly, call 1-800-549-1000. Again, 1-800-549-1000, or visit tnusa.com/lockedon. And be sure to mention Locked On Giants at the checkout, and you'll receive a $250 discount off their services. Tax Network USA. And today's show is also brought to you by Ibotta. It's summertime, which means it's barbecue season. Stock up on all your grilling favorites and earn cash back on every purchase when you use Ibotta. So you won't have to choose between burgers or hot dogs. You can get both. Ibotta is a free app that lets you earn cash back on everything that you shop for. Earn on hundreds of items from groceries to beauty supplies, even toys. So you can make sure you're beating inflation no matter what price of the item is that you're purchasing. The average Ibotta user earns $256 per year. That could cover the cost of an entire shopping trip, that flight you've been eyeing, the fancy dinner you've been craving, or maybe an outing to Oracle Park. You can save on over 2,400 brands and shop at over 1,000 retailers, including your favorite grocery stores, Lowe's, Macy's, Sephora, Best Buy, and so many more. Right now, Ibotta is offering our listeners $5 just for trying Ibotta by using code LOCKEDONMLB when you register. Just go to the App Store or Google Play Store and download the free Ibotta app to start earning cash and use code LOCKEDONMLB. Did I mention it's free? That's IBOTTA in the Google Play or App Store and use code LOCKEDONMLB. Welcome back to the Locked On Giants postcast. I'm your host, Eric Triple E Engel. Today, the Giants, they did okay at the plate. 4 runs isn't bad. It's not bad. But I mean, it was very frustrating watching them strike out 14 times. There's some good, some bad, kind of like an assortment of what we saw from the Giants offense today. We can start with the good. Michael Conforto, dude, has been raking lately. And today he does it again. Another super clutch RBI double late in this game that scored Chapman from first in the top of the 7th. It was a massive play, his 14th double of the season. He's been really coming around lately since he since he returned from the injury list, it's been up and down. He was ice cold when he first came back, and he's been slowly kind of under the radar, maybe not so much under the radar, but in the mix of everybody else kind of starting to hit better. Soler's coming around. He had another double today, by the way. Double machine, Jorge Soler. Just put his face on the in and out menu. Take off the words that say double, but just put Jorge Soler up there. Just a picture of his face. And that explains all that he's been doing in the last month. Dude's just ripping doubles left and right. But Michael Conforto, since in his last 12 games, coming into today, this is excluding today's stats, he's slashing 321, 429, 679 over his last 12 games, all the way back to June 22nd. 7 of his 9 hits in that span have gone for extra bases. He's got 5 doubles, a triple, and a home run. Last night, he was 2 for 4 with a pair of doubles and the RBI. Today, another double for Conforto. It's been nice watching how he's just really changed his approach, and he changes the entire Giants lineup when he's hitting the way he is. We talk about this a lot. Hitting is contagious. And today, I mean, you look at what he was doing, and it kind of started to bleed into other people. He came in as a pinch hitter for Matos. I feel like we got to find a way to play Conforto every single day right now. While he's this hot, he needs to play. And yes, I think Matos needs to play a lot too. I don't know who sits. Maybe it's Slater, but you got to figure out a way to get Conforto into games. You got to figure out a way to let Matos keep playing. It's a tough line to walk right now with the Giants. Kind of weird roster construction, just a ton of outfielders and just a rotating cast of infielders. It feels like with all the injuries that they've had and holes that they've needed to plug. I mean, look at Tyler Fitzgerald, got a start at first base today. That's very weird. Also moved to second base in this one. Conforto moved around, came in as a pinch hitter, moved into left field. Matos was playing right. They moved Slater over to right from left. It was just moving guys all around. Wisely played both second base and shortstop. Lamont Wade came in to pinch hit for Nick Ahmed, who was playing short, and then moved over to first base. So just all sorts of weirdness for the Giants defensively, and they adjusted pretty well. This group's been playing defense pretty solidly lately, but I think right now you need to find a way to get the guys who are hot in the lineup daily. And that includes Michael Conforto, who has been raking lately, as we just explained over his last 12 games coming into this excludes today. He's batting .321 and has a bunch of extra base hits. 7 of his 9 hits in that span going for extra base hits. And again, he picks up another one today. Michael Conforto has been really, really solid for the Giants. And the Giants, interesting little fact, they're 14-8 this year, now 14-9 when Conforto drives in a run. And last year, it was even more staggering. They were 44-15 in games when he drove in a run last season. So Michael Conforto means a lot to this Giants lineup. And when he's playing well, it makes this lineup different. I mean, really does. You got Soler starting to come around, that batting average up to 226, the OPS up over 700. You got Ramos doing what he's doing. Chapman's been playing a lot better. Chapman scored 2 runs today, was on base 3 times. That's a very positive sign. And Conforto doing what he's doing. Tyler Fitzgerald, we also got to mention, had a very clutch at bat today. Broken bat single that scored 2 runs. And that was kind of the play that really shifted the momentum, started to shift it back towards the Giants. And that I thought once Conforto hit that double to score Chapman, I really thought the Giants were going to complete this comeback today. Really did. And they would have probably done it too if they didn't strike out so many damn times. I mean, so often today. And I hate having to point this out, but Elliot Ramos really hurt the Giants today early in this one by striking out in very, very, very key situations. In the top of the first, Soler leadoff double. Giants couldn't get him in. Ramos had a really bad strikeout where he could have moved Soler over to third base and would have made this inning look a lot different if the Giants had even been able to score 1 run in that top of the first. The whole game turns out differently. Again, in the top of the third, this one was probably more egregious. The Giants get the first 2 batters of the inning on base and then strike out the next 3. And Ramos was one of those 3. And you can't have the top of the order striking out 3 batters in a row when you got 2 the first two batters of the inning on base. Soler's been doing a great job, by the way. We should mention this of getting himself on base as the leadoff batter in this lineup, and when he's leading off innings later in the game, he's been doing a great job getting on base. And the Giants have not been doing a great job of getting that leadoff runner in. They're one of the best teams, might be the best team in all of baseball in getting their leadoff runner on. They need to do a much better job of having productive at-bats. That doesn't mean base hits for everybody, but preferably not 14 strikeouts in one game, especially Logan Allen got the start for the Guardians today. Dude is not by any means a strikeout machine. He's pretty, middle of the pack, below the middle of the pack as far as strikeouts per nine go. And you can't let a dude like that just rack up Ks. He had 9 strikeouts in 4 1/3 innings. That's so many strikeouts, just way too many strikeouts. If the Giants have been able to turn some of those into just productive outs, ground outs, deep fly balls that advanced runners, this game probably turns out differently. There's a lot of things the Giants could have done differently to win this one, starting with Luke Jackson maybe not pitching in high leverage situations. I don't question Bob Melvin's decisions too much. I really like Bomel and the buttons that he pushes for the Giants. Usually seems to be pushing the right ones. Look at all the right buttons he pushed in on the defense today. I mean, to have that many changes defensively and still have your team locked in and not make any mistakes is good. That's a good sign. They're obviously prepared for that, ready to go. But Luke Jackson, man, like the way that this bullpen is being managed, I know he's kind of pushed into a corner with the number of innings that all these guys have thrown, but you got to find another way to do this. No more Luke Jackson in 1-run games. No more Luke Jackson in 2 or 3-run games, honestly. Like, get this guy into the very like bottom of the barrel in the pen. This guy should only be pitching when you're considering maybe bringing in Tyler Rogers or Tyler Fitzgerald because you're down by 8 runs in the 8th inning. That's the only time I want to see Luke Jackson. Please, for the love of God, stop doing this. No more easy home runs for the other team. No more hanging breaking balls thigh high over the middle of the plate. Stop. Just stop doing it. Luke Jackson has clearly shown that he's going to keep doing that if he's on the field. As I said, ERA over 9 last month, throughout the entire month. You got to fix it. You got to find a way to support this the rest of this Giants team. Support the starting staff, support the rest of the bullpen. I mean, could you imagine what this bullpen's numbers would look like without Luke Jackson on the team? Probably be a lot better. That's all the time we got for you guys today on this show, on this version of the Locked On Giants postcast. We'll be coming to you live tomorrow as the Giants wrap up their series against the Guardians in the rubber match. Winner wins the series, and the Giants have been really good in those games this year. They are 8-2. So we'll see if the Giants can keep it rolling. It is going to be against a very tough Cleveland Guardians team who has the best home record in all of baseball. So the Giants have their work cut out for them, but they got Hayden Birdsong going tomorrow. They got a chance. Reminder, we should see Blake Snell come back during this series against the Blue Jays, which is who the Giants take on next when they return home to Oracle Park this coming week. So we'll keep an eye on that. And the Giants have overall been playing pretty well. Maybe they can finally get back to 500 before the All-Star break. With the loss today, the Giants are back to 44-46, 2 games under. Seems like every time they get a little too close to that 500 record, they immediately start losing some games. Can't get too close. So the never-ending climb back to 500 continues. The Giants series against the Guardians continues tomorrow, and we'll see if they can pull out the win in the rubber match again. 8-2 in rubber matches so far this year, coming off rubber match wins against the Dodgers and the Braves most recently. See if they can do it again. That's all the time we got for you today on the Locked On Giants postcast. I'm your host, Eric Triple E Engel. We'll see you next time. Peace.